Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the January 20th, 2026 planning board meeting for the town of Concord. I will take we have one here. We don't take a roll call, but right?
Correct.
Beautiful. All right, let's jump right into it to the 7:05 agenda item. The definitive subdivision public hearing in accordance with the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 41, Section 81-T. And the town of Concord subdivision rules and regulations to review the definitive subdivision plan. Application of 874 Barrett's Mill Road LLC for improvement of a new roadway and the creation of 4 new building lots at 874 Barrett's Mill Road, parcel 1994. Do we have anyone online to speak for the applicant?
The applicant's engineer is here, and I believe the applicant is here as well.
Yes, they're here as well.
Yeah, hang on. So the board was given a draft decision, and I'm gonna share my screen. Sue provided some edits that I'm just gonna run through quickly. No, 1 second, and since there's nobody here.
Subtle. I
Uh,
actually brought my glasses, so you don't have to do that.
So the first question was, Sue had was regarding the book and page. Yes, the Registry of Deeds has asked that we put the book and page in there, and they just always referred to it as BK and PG. So that's just how they put it. And then
Also, is there an apostrophe in Barrett's?
so don't know.
On
And-
Concord GIS, there's an apostrophe, but that is not proof positive.
No, but the scenic roads bylaw, the historical commission did not put an apostrophe. So I am going to check with what the town clerk has for her records. And
We can vote this and you can fix it later.
yes, we will. There may be an apostrophe, there may not, but we'll make sure that that happens. And then I think yeah, so those 2 items, and then there were just some minor clarifying edits to a couple of the paragraphs, making sure consistency throughout. Here we using will instead of would, and then going through, as you pointed out, this decision reference is only for the plans that the board is approving. So these 2 sentences that are struck, were previous revisions, and so they don't need to be in here. And
Please make sure you don't strike the period at the end of, oh, you fixed it.
No,
Okay,
I did.
got it.
the same thing here regarding, we don't need to reference the white pines that were replaced. And going through a couple more edits as far as extra spaces or lack of periods. Again, extra spaces. Here's just clarifying, given the expected vehicular.
Yeah, but there's an extra the in there. It should be given the expected vehicular, and I appear to have failed to strike the.
The second the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then again, yes, originally the applicant had requested a waiver. Referencing the intersection center line offset, but referencing site distance. So I just deleted that full sentence because it really doesn't matter. These are the waivers that the board is acting upon, so it doesn't need to be in there. And A couple other extra spaces, missed trees to be planted. So Sue's question about adding plants.
It's not that important. We could say animals and plants, but whatever.
I'm not sure streetlights have that much.
On
impact
plants,
plant.
sure. Different plants need to have night, lack of daylight or daylight in order to germinate or do other weird, grow their leaves properly or other planty things.
We can say plants and. Want me to say flora and fauna?
Go for it.
Okay.
Then it includes.
Wait, is fauna?
Fauna.
Fauna's like, it's just grass.
That's flora, it's flower, it's plants and
Fauna
bugs,
is
everything else.
bugs and everything
Okay,
else. Okay.
It
Um,
does not cover fungi, but I think we can let the fungi deal with themselves.
So I'll double check with Christine, either in this decision or in the exterior lighting bylaw warrant article. I believe dark sky is one word, not two words. So we will make sure, whichever way it is, we will make sure it's correct and consistent.
I think it actually appears in 2 warrant articles.
Right, we will make sure
Sure.
before we go through. I think a lot of these are just, again, extra
Punctuation.
punctuations or spaces, formatting. Meeting the tree protection bylaws definition of a protected tree. And then I think everything else
And
is.
I didn't
There's
look at any
extra
conditions
space.
from 13 on. I ran out of time. So if there's any typos in there, I could look for them later and we could vote on this decision with them to be fixed up later, or we could just say, well, it's what it is.
A lot of those were standard though.
A lot of these are
Yeah.
standard, so with these standard conditions, I'm
Not
less
too likely to
concerned
find anything.
about. You know. Maybe extra spaces but I'm okay with the decision moving forward with these amendments.
21 is dark skies, one word.
The what?
21 is dark skies, one word.
Yeah, one word. So I do think dark sky is one word, but all the other changes are just extra spaces. Or, yeah, most of them are all extra spaces.
Well, that's all there is, because I did them all in one swell swoop and I didn't read past 13.
So that is it. So unless the applicant has any questions or comments or questions from the board, you know,
No, Elizabeth, we read through the decision. We don't have any comments.
I mean, with motion.
Yes, please.
So I move to grant with waivers the subdivision plan application of 874 Barrett's Mill Road LLC for improvements of a new roadway and the creation of 4 new building lots at 874 Barrett's Mill Road, parcel number 1994, pursuant to the board's decision and conditions as amended, and authorize the chair, vice chair, clerk, or town planner to sign on behalf of the board.
I get a second.
Second.
Right. Roll call vote.
all you have to do is say all in favor.
Oh, great. I'm so used to these past few weeks. All those in favor? I. Guys have it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Appreciate the time. Good administrative business, public comments limited to 15 minutes with no more than 3 minutes allocated to any one speaker. Public comment is limited to items that are not on the agenda. We don't have anyone in the room. Does anyone online have any comment? All right. Moving on to the next item, the final 2026 annual town meeting, zoning bylaw amendments, warrant articles.
So I did get a couple further revisions. I'm gonna from Sue, we're gonna start with, just a minor revision to, the exterior lighting bylaw. So every time I get something back from town council, there's always some formatting tweak here and there. So this paren lighting is something new. So, you know, to Sue's comment, yes, you know, I will probably make this exterior lighting in parentheses.
And they also struck the whole deleted section, so we no longer need to refer to deleting things.
Right, so that gets removed as well. And oh, and I think that, yeah, a semicolon is
Comma, semicolon, whatever floats your boat.
is fine. And then I think that was
Probably it.
it. So. So that was it for the exterior lighting, other than making sure that this has dark sky as one word. And we'll go through and make those amendments. I think so before this gets submitted, we'll make sure that it states dark sky is one word. And that was it. For this one. And then lighting. The board received the draft for the wireless bylaw. There were no other edits.
Wait, okay, so I had a bad week and I didn't get through everything. Did town council not return anything on
It
wireless?
does not return
Oh,
any edits.
well, they shouldn't, they wrote it, but
Well, yeah.
with you.
So there were no edits, so what the board got in the packet was that final version. And
So did it? I know there had been a note about the 300 feet between the wetlands and the vernal pools, and like whether that was a real thing or not. Did town council respond to that, or did we not ask it?
I think that was that not addressed in this latest
It just,
version?
well, what I saw just had it as the same, and I didn't know if that was because it was.
Is it no changes because they said, yes, it's good like that, or is it no changes because they forgot to think about it?
Right.
Don't know, they just said they did not have any further edits on it, so the 300 feet is, which section is that?
It was on page 4, section 7.8.4.1 D, and it was basically like it shouldn't be within 300 feet of a historic site. But apparently, like, it just was different. I didn't know if that was the actual federal standard or not, that it can't be within 300 feet of a wetland, vernal pool, or habitat of, you know, whether it was more restrictive than it needed to be. Or if that was just whatever the standard was. Sorry.
No? I will have to go back and look, so give me a second.
Because I understand that the historic district part, the 300 with the historic district was a nice to have, like in the sense of that's a town thing, but if we're trying to be less restrictive, is the goal to, yeah.
So you're questioning?
The question, yeah, the question,
Federally regulated.
so the question is,
Which is actually, you know, incorrect, because you can have a tower within 100 feet of a wetland.
right,
I mean, the board and Natural Resources Commission has approved one that was.
No, I understand, but if the goal is to, on paper at least, even if you can't, I thought the goal was to create a bylaw which was more enforceable as well as being more accurate to the goal of
Correct.
facilitating whatever, and if that's not, good luck getting it closer to historic district, that's fine, but where it doesn't have to be as restrictive as that.
Then why do we have this clause too?
Well, I understand why you would have had it.
Right, but
because
why are
we're
we
trying to
putting it
just-
now?
Exactly.
Yeah, and clause 3.
Yeah.
And clause 4 for that.
Yeah, 4 is probably a harder fight that I wouldn't want to wage, but 2 and 3 are like, come on. I know people who live on swamps. It's just, it is what it is.
So we already let people, I mean, it's already. I'm confused. Why would we even have this in here if it
That's-
could be 100
That's
feet?
the question.
Yeah,
Why is
yeah.
it in there? In this bylaw, they're gonna be required to meet the.
Yeah,
requirements
they're
of
not
our
gonna be able to
wetland
enforce
law.
this, so why, if we're already going through the effort of trying to get rid of the unenforceable stuff, why leave it in?
Well, given the strictures of the closure of the warrant, we could vote saying if they're not enforceable, then take them out and renumber 4 to 2. Having checked with town council, Elizabeth having checked with town council.
I mean, I would,
Otherwise,
So, no, just give me one.
Yeah.
1 second.
okay, or just take them out. Also, if it's state law or federal law that it can't be done, then those will control anyhow.
yeah. Yeah, it's the, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the single screen, that's all. Usually. I'm fairly certain I have. I have an answer to that somewhere, and I believe that is the correct answer, that, those don't need to be in there because, the jurisdiction for citing a tower within the 100 feet of the wetland is actually not within the Board of Appeals jurisdiction to begin with. It's the Natural Resources Commission. So I will verify that, but I do think that the recommendation from town council was to delete that. Just not finding it right off the bat. So up to the board on how you wish to proceed with that.
Extra. I mean, I'm fine with striking those 2 items there.
I am too. It seems like that is consonant with our goals, our direction from the select board, the town's goals. And also it can be done according to state or federal law that will cover it. So why not just strike?
Especially it's in the NRC's jurisdiction, it's just as a
Yeah, so that's what I.
Regardless of anything else, if this is something the NRC decides.
Plus, as Elizabeth says, the town has already permitted one within 100 feet, so. Yeah,
It's precedent already there.
Well, why make people jump through hoops that are not real
Yeah.
hoops?
So delete,
I think 2.
2 and 3.
right.
And 4, we have jurisdiction over rare and endangered wildlife.
Yes, because that's not within the Wetlands Protection Act. That's actually within the natural heritage is the one that maps rare and endangered um plant and wildlife areas. So Garrison Road has a mapped rare or endangered plant or wildlife, and there isn't a single wetland on the property.
Okay,
So yes, that one can definitely stay. Is there anything else I missed? Yes. Let me just save this. Town council did not have any edits on the limited business one amendment.
Not on various
And
sections.
not on various sections for building inspector, so those were as drafted in the board's packet. And then what was in the board's packet for joint parking did include some minor grammatical type edits.
I have neglected to check if their grammatical edits are grammatically correct.
So I think, you know, the board, if the board does vote to move to put any and all of these forward, you know, they can move to have them move forward, allowing you know, minor grammatical edits to the document that doesn't change you know, the substance or you know intent. And then you know, I can work with Sue
If there's anything.
if there's anything that needs to be corrected with these as well. And
so town council had nothing to
nope,
say about it.
had nothing to say on those either.
Wait, on which one? I thought you just said they did have something on joint parking.
I'm just.
No, so yes, they had some minor edits, but that
But
is
nothing,
the draft
yeah.
that the board got.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I read it and didn't notice anything, so
Okay.
I would say it was pretty minor.
And then the same thing with the MBTA communities, they had again some minor edits. Mostly with the explanation, not with the warrant article itself. So what was in the board's packet included their comments. And then so the last one was the mixed use zoning article, which Sue did also provide some edits. But town council also, and the reason I sent that to the board was they actually had a couple of clarifying questions. Which I thought we can go through their clarifying questions. And then I can bring up, I'm gonna say a clean, you know, version that has Sue's edits and town council's edits, so the board can just see those edits together. And so let me share my screen and so first off, starting,
Elizabeth, you can just give me the number of where we're at in the document.
yep, we're at section 4.2.3.2 open space,
Okay,
item B. So the first question, council had, is this the same as private space? And I think it's referring to this first section.
Well,
So,
it is unclear here, the way it's written, whether private means the residential use space or the space for individual residential units, but when I provided edits, I suggested we basically not say private.
right, so Sue's edit incorporated the use of residential in this paragraph that, you know, I'll show, and I think that addresses this question from council regarding private spaces. So it gets rid of the term private and instead says residential.
We were also a little squishy about what we meant by combined, whether it was referring to just the reserved residential space or any of the open space, including the public space, and so I tightened that up as well. At least I hope I did, but people can look.
So
And
I will,
And I agreed with town council that that was an unnecessary reiteration and we could just delete that whole sentence. I don't know what other people feel.
No.
Um,
I do agree.
I agree, so I think that sentence can be, no, can you see that, Pat?
See, I can't see that. I brought my computer, but then I realized I can't see any of the things that have been edited.
Oh,
I wanna see here and I can think, what's his same thing? I can see out there.
Oh, thank
Try
you.
that for a bit.
Excellent.
oh, and town council
So
also
that's-
had a
that's-
question about the word
That
total,
help?
which
Yeah.
I suggested
Michelle scroll.
rephrasing it so that their question
It's
didn't even
this-
matter.
This sentence right in the middle of item B, that's a duplicate about the 24 square feet.
Well,
Yep, and then I think in Sue's edited version, you corrected that as well. And I'll show that. There was one item. So I think those were the only two questions from council, so what I'll do is I'll bring up the next version, which it might be a little easier to see all the changes.
Right, right. They could do that, but only if it's in addition to the 24.
Right, that's
Per
what you
unit.
can't
Yeah.
count that because you made it 900 square feet, which is bigger than the minimum needed for the, just,
Right.
yeah, you can't play greedy games.
There has to be some open space reserved to just the
Just the
residents,
resident. Okay.
even though it may be for all of them collectively.
Right, I just wanted to make sure I understood the residential distinction.
So again, based on, that the whole comment about, so we're at.
Oh, I didn't get
153.
rid of the word private. So here it should be, must include a certain amount of
Dedicated residential space.
space as detailed below that is dedicated to the residents of the residential units.
Okay,
Is dedicated a suitable word, or maybe reserved, in fact, because that's the word
you're substituting dedicated for available.
which shall be dedicated to the residents. And then Yeah.
and-
Oh, wait, which shall be, no, whose use shall be dedicated, because we don't want them to put a plaque up saying this is dedicated to the residents of, yeah.
Okay, so instead of which,
Whose use shall be dedicated. No,
Yes.
OSE, yeah. Whose use shall be, lovely.
and then Sue added this, this. sentence
Standard,
about-
Dave
yeah,
dimension, usability,
Yeah.
yeah. We already had it in item B, and it occurred to me we should have it in both.
Then it uses residential open space, yeah.
So this is the original sentence that got, that. Or talked
Oh, right,
about
so we can
deleting.
now kill it.
And then
So,
see,
so this uses the term residential open space here. Should that be used up in that first sentence where you talk about a certain amount of space as dedicated, as is detailed below? So should that use the term residential open space? Right, where you basically put private.
Well, we say it in a couple of
Yeah, I just
different
don't
ways.
know.
Either residential space
Probably,
or space for the residents.
it's probably fine. I just probably overthinking.
Let's say it's dedicated to the resident.
I think it's fine because you use communal residential space, you use it in a couple of different ways. So I think,
Right,
yeah, I think it's
but the operative term is residential
just residential, yeah.
or
I don't
resident.
think the optics would be good on the developer to dedicate the space to residents. You know, the way you're saying, you know, like dedicating. You know,
But that's just a
placard up.
little plaque.
yeah,
yeah,
Little brass
I don't
plaque.
think-
brass plaque,
Was everybody okay with the change in language up there?
oh,
With all the additions of residential and must be provided,
Yep.
and I changed total to residential and combined and some other things, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
and, so this was, all these others are shalls. And for some reason, this was not, so I don't know why the board wouldn't also want a multi-tenant coordinated sign plan.
Mhm.
So that was an edit that I made. And. Again, just. Clarifying development contains 10 or more units. So a lot of these are just.
Wait a second, I thought I sent an additional edit on 4.2.3.5, the initial paragraph. Because what it says here is that it shall have at least 20% of the total number of dwelling units available as affordable, which does not allow for payments in lieu. It's true that in item A, we explain about the payments in lieu, but that's just an explanation of how you would calculate it, not an allowance for payments in lieu. I thought I included,
So I had.
payment in lieu in the initial paragraph. But maybe I sent the wrong version. And I also had a question, a comment for, I'm not sure if town council thinks we need that or if it's fine.
What I had, oh, cause, town council's version had. So I'm gonna have to stop sharing. And this is what I had changed. In town council's version. Town council had added and or contribute a payment in lieu as specified below. So to Sue's point, I don't think and or works
I added this, that was a town council, this is me.
and or contributes. a
And
payment.
it doesn't have
So-
to say that.
So what I think is better is something, the calculation of affordable units and payment in lieu for fraction units is as follows. Because you can't have an or contribute a payment. It's not an or. You have to provide the affordable units. You only get to do an in lieu payment if you have a fractional unit.
Right, but it says shall have at least 20%
Right.
available as
Yeah, but
affordable
if you
units.
and or,
So unless a fractional unit counts as being available, then it would be less than 20% in,
Well, you can't have less than 20%. You have to have 20%.
But it's 10.
wait a second, so if you've got a development that's got, 21 units total, of which 20%, at least 20% must be affordable, that's,
So it'd be
9, right? Wait a second.
4.4 whatever it is.
Oh, so it's 5, excuse me, it's
Yeah.
5 units because
would
it
it-
says at least 20.
But wouldn't the fractional calculation come into play there? No.
Well, it should, but if we
Right,
say,
so say, and hear me out on your 21 number. So 20% would be 4.2, right? That would be the number of units. So they would have to have 4 units that are available, and then they would also have to give that 0.2, whatever the 0.2 payment is.
well, that's what we want.
Mhm.
But my point is, I don't think that's what this language says, because it says shall have at least 20% available as affordable units. It doesn't say shall have at least 20% unless, of course, there's a fractional unit that's less than 50%, in which case you can make a payment in lieu. It just says shall have at least 20%.
Go ahead.
Isn't that what Elizabeth's is saying, that there's, rather than getting into the weeds with the calculation, it's the calculation of affordable units and payment of fractional units is as follows.
Right, but we still don't allow for you to have less than 20% by making a payment in lieu for a small fractional of a unit. We say,
So
well, you do.
10 or more.
If you move that comment, isn't that what that thing below says? That if it's less than
Yeah.
0.5, you pay, but if it's more than 0.5, you need the unit?
Yeah, isn't that what A is?
right, but this is my question
I
about,
get what Sue's trying to say.
I get
and we can't delete at least because then it has to be exactly 20%. I don't know how many units, at least is, We
So
could
isn't it just whose calculation is
so any-
specified below? Isn't that what it is?
Or say any fractional units would apply, paragraph B would apply.
well, you could say shall have at least 20% of the total number of dwelling units included on the SHI, except as provided under A.
Say, look. We vote to put this on the warrant.
Except that we want to tweak that paragraph however town council says, and whatever they says, we'll go with it.
So, and here's the other thing, like,
Mhm.
how often is this gonna come up?
Well, it's still gotta be.
I know
Yeah.
it has to be
It has to be pinned down.
pinned down, but
I mean, honestly,
Well, sure, it's gonna come up because somebody's gonna want to build 13 units.
I'm sure
because
somebody's
everybody-
gonna, but somebody's gonna look at it and say 15 units means one of them has to be affordable, 14 units means one of them doesn't, and I have to pay, okay, I'll do 14. And I won't do the complicated building project,
Which is exactly the problem we have right now, that nobody uses mixed use because,
because it's complicated.
yeah,
well, and because too many sizes are unbuildable. We absolutely want to allow the fractional unit, we just have to phrase it right.
Oh, I get, yeah.
Just chuck this into the chat.
Well, what about, Elizabeth, if we replace my addition with except as provided under A?
Yeah,
Does that work for
Fine.
everybody?
Yeah.
yeah, because then you're pointing to the right place to figure out whether it's.
Or, yeah, or just except as provided below?
No,
Well,
would that be a period or a colon?
Uh. I believe a period, and also you have to delete comma as specified, because we have except as provided.
And I would think you'd have.
Oh, you wanted to say, no, except as provided below. Yeah,
Do we need to put reference 4.2.3.5 A in there?
I don't think so.
Okay, just want to make sure, just because below.
Could be any of the.
Yeah, but it's directly below. It's not like it's a cross reference to like,
Oh,
yeah. I don't know.
and I'm still. is
So,
there-
so that actually is like a tweak edit that town council can make.
okay,
Right.
Yeah.
Right, does not affect meaning in any way.
Right.
I'm not quite sure the punctuation all got set up correctly there, but that is also something that can be fixed after the
Right.
fact.
So you want this a period or a colon?
I
I think it's a period. Because you're not. Because if it said except. And then had a colon, yeah, I don't know.
think you
Okay,
could
we're
go
gonna make
either
it a
way.
period.
yeah, it's fine.
Sure,
Okay, all right, so I will.
I think there's a bogus space, but we'll fix that later.
I'll fix that. Um,
All right,
Okay,
were there any
so-
other comments in that whole article? Other than that incorrectly capitalized word, which. Oh, I reinserted the parenthesis,
yes, that's
not exciting.
not exciting. There needed to be a double parentheses in one of these.
No, three of them, two of them already had it.
Yeah, and that was it.
It's good
One other item, and I'm not sure where the comment came from, but as far as for the explanation, I didn't know, based on the economic feasibility analysis, if there was anything additional the board wanted to add in the explanation. It's a long explanation, so the warrant, just the articles will be printed in the Concord Bridge. The warrant article with explanations will be posted to the website and put into the briefing book. An explanation is not technically part of the warrant article, so town council may have, a couple other edits to the explanation. But I think one comment, Sue, you had mentioned, in the explanation, towards the bottom of the explanation, it talks about how this amendment and the specific goals in the Envision Concord, moving that up more closer to the top.
Oh, that was a comment I got from someone else, but yes.
So I think that's a good comment. As far as the explanation, but other than that, I know it's a balance for the board between having too much in the explanation and having not enough in the explanation, but since explanations are no longer printed in the warrant and they don't get printed until the briefing book, which is further down the line, I'm leaning towards having more than less. Just for a lot of people, the weekend before town meeting is the first time they ever read the briefing
Right.
book.
Right.
And so, they haven't been involved or engaged, so I'd rather have more of an explanation than less.
And it seems like the guidance we've been getting from the select board. And town meeting study committee was put more in.
Put more in.
Or do more earlier, like the
Right.
public hearing is no longer supposed to be just finding our errors of logic and practicing our presentation, but actually having a conversation with the public. So, yeah. I agree about the longer explanation, even though it's not the way things used to be.
That's okay.
That's okay, it's just fine.
So, looks like we have,
And then, so I think that is all 7.
so if you have one person, Mr. Johnson.
Thanks. I did have a comment or two on this mixed use article. One was for section 4.2.3.3, the development standards. When I look at item G in that list, it doesn't sound like a standard to me. It sounds like a guideline. The multi-unit plan for all proposed signs of the development is encouraged. Well, I mean, that's not zoning.
But we just changed it to be shall.
Okay, I missed
Well,
that.
Yeah, we did that just on the fly a couple minutes ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I and J are also a little squishy, but you know, they would be things I would normally feel would fit better in design guidelines, like contributing to a vibrant streetscape. How would you do a finding for that?
If I had to guess, it'll be, based on whatever the proposed layout of the building is, where, how the building is situated to the street, whether there's a wide, pedestrian corridor, and the same thing with J, and again, it's gonna be based off the architecture. I'm hesitant to take these out and say, put them in guidelines, because there are no guidelines yet, and that can take a while to develop. So, I think findings, for those 2 items can be tied to the site layout and the architecture for the project. But I leave it up to the board on your thoughts.
I mean, we do have design guidelines for West Concord Village, which would be one of probably 2 sites in town that would, well, actually, it's more than 2 now. We probably would have more than 2 now. But there are existing design guidelines, at least for one major area where this would happen.
Right,
So
but we'd have to have townwide
There's
design
There's
guidelines.
no design guidelines for,
Mixed use.
South Street or the Road Depot or,
Some other places.
a few other places as well.
It's probably too indirect, but I will note that the West Concord Village District was designed to restrict uses to not even all business uses in order to provide a vibrant streetscape by not having ground floor professional offices, because they just don't have a lot of walk-in traffic and interest of people passing by. I don't know that,
Well, but see, in that case, there is an explicit zoning requirement that is deemed to improve the streetscape, right? Which is that you don't have residential in the front of the building on the first floor. But here you just have a vague statement saying contribute to the vibrant streetscape. You don't specify what must be done to do that. So it's very open-ended. It doesn't feel like zoning to me. That's all. It feels like design guidelines to me. If I'm reading this as someone who's proposing a development.
Maybe we should take it as a goal to have townwide design guidelines, but at the moment, I'm okay with it as written.
As zoning.
Agree.
So the second area of comment was, or the third area, I should say, is on the explanation. I thought that even understanding the new spirit of explanations, that there is a formula in this explanation, first of all, of kind of taking down the existing language and then putting up the benefits of the new language. And I think it ends up sort of being two sides of the same coin and a little bit repetitive in some cases. And I don't know if you need to, in each case, explain what's wrong. If you just say what you need to do to improve the zoning, I think it would be more streamlined. The second comment was on the paragraph that says the adoption of zoning does not mean that developments are going to be immediately built. That is a completely generic statement, and the whole paragraph doesn't have anything to do with this article specifically. It just seems like, it's trying to anticipate objections, but it's so broad. It's not an explanation of this article. So I would recommend removing it. And yeah, I think you can address that comment if it comes up, but it just seemed odd. And then I thought that while, you refer to the long-range plan, which is great, and starting with that is great. You go into a lot of detail, including, talking about developing the Thoreau Street Depot area, which sounds like it's not just zoning, it's a specific project. So that could actually create the objection that you're trying to address in that other paragraph. So just some thoughts on maybe how to streamline the explanation a bit.
So those 4 items from the Envision Concord plan, that's the specific language that's in the plan.
Yeah, and I think you could just be more brief about them. Yeah.
Well, I tried to think of how we could delete the specific mention of Thoreau Depot Crosby's from the quotation from the long range plan and have it still make any sense, but it seemed like it would be hard to delete those words and still have the item convey anything.
Yeah, and I'm saying I have no objection to developing that area. I'm just saying it just seemed like there was a tension within the explanation box between those two sections,
Well, it's hard to say what the long range plan says when it specifically mentions that area.
Right, yeah, okay.
I agree. It's tricky. And I agree also about a whole paragraph about what zoning and does and does not do. It is a little hard to navigate right now, whether an explanation is purely an explanation or whether it should be taking on some slight aspects of a presentation just because we should be explaining more stuff in advance these days.
Yeah, but I mean, couldn't you just say that the 4 elements of the long-range plan that this supports are to renew and improve Concord's village centers as vital pedestrian-friendly economic and social hubs. 2, to enhance the quality of life to support the strong commercial successes throughout town. 3, to encourage developers to build housing the town wants and needs. 4, to explore zoning alternatives that enable higher density mixed use, more walkable and economically diverse to communities near village centers. Done.
Okay, I guess we could.
I kind of like that. I think that this is a lot. I think that the first bit that you were concerned about, Matt, I think it's worthwhile having that in there. But this I'm okay with trimming it back.
If you have this thing of the adoption of zoning does not mean developments are going to be immediately built, you could make that as an explanation box before the whole section of zoning articles in the warrant. It doesn't, you
really could.
It doesn't have anything to do with this particular article. Just saying. All right, well, anyway, I've made my comment. You'll do what you want.
We actually appreciate it. It's, you know, it's very constructive, so.
Yes,
So I can shorten up those.
4 items.
4 items. The preceding, I think it's 2 paragraphs before, about zoning. Some of the concerns that I have is that a lot of people that go to town meeting have no idea what the purpose of zoning is and what it does. And reading the explanation in the briefing book is going to be the only time that they're going to understand or be able to understand what it is, until they show up at town meeting. And, the people, Matt's been active, Board of Appeals, Select Board, Planning. So the people that go to the public hearing are active. The people that just go to town meeting have less of an understanding of how zoning works and how it can't stop, everything. It can't,
And it doesn't cause everything
and it
either.
doesn't cause everything. And so I'm on the fence either way,
Well, and Matt's partially right that this could go in any planning board article, although, not the one about building commissioner really. But this is the one where it seems most relevant and helpful to say it. So I kind of like having it here.
So maybe I might flip this a little bit. What about taking his bullet points and incorporating it into the presentation? As opposed to the explanation. And putting it towards the end, like the last, summarizing presentation, saying. This is what are the goals with this presentation. I'm just throwing it out there, critical,
Wait.
I like what he's saying, but I hear with, I'm torn because we have a constant situation with some of these articles where, again, Elizabeth hit it. We get to town meeting, people are, seeing this stuff for the first time. And yes, this could be a lot of information, but they'll give them time to look at, if they're really that concerned about it, they'll look at that. But with our presentation, just summarizing those 4 bullet items, I think will help.
Okay,
I-
so you're suggesting leaving in the paragraph about
Correct.
what zoning does, but taking out the bullet points about, well, this is what the long range plan says.
No,
No,
I'm saying taking his bullets, And-
You're taking the paragraph and bulleting it.
no, taking his
So
4,
it's his 4 bullets, which are based on that, but abbreviated,
correct, put them into the presentation at the end to kind of
tie it together.
tie it together.
well, I think they are good in the presentation, but are you talking about taking them out of the explanation or leaving them
If they're on the
there?
presentation, they're not gonna need to be in the explanation.
Oh, I don't.
Because people, not necessarily,
No, I'm saying
because-
leave the explanation as is, but use those bullet points.
oh, in the
for the
presentation.
presentation.
Oh,
For the
yeah.
delivery,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, then yes, that makes sense.
So it's sort of the technical delivery in the paper and then the actual for public, not
Correct.
public consumption, but whatever the better phrasing.
Because obviously we're not gonna go through this during the presentation and,
Although I kind of like Matt's shorter versions of the bullet points, even in the explanation.
But I think absent a real citation, people are gonna wonder where it's from. And then you're gonna end up with people.
Oh, I see.
Like, oh, okay, that's where it came from. It's from the, because.
if they.
Right, so we can have the literal quotes, like the explanation for the wireless article. go
Right, you have the
Deep into the weeds,
literal quotes of
Yeah,
different things.
federal statutes, yeah.
Right.
But that's not going into the presentation, I imagine.
Right, but a summary is, because
Right.
it's better for consumption purposes.
Yes.
Um, But you need that supporting material, otherwise
Sometimes you think you're pulling it out of your.
it's
Right.
accomplish, you're just making phrases up to accomplish what you want,
Right.
as opposed to say, hey. You know, whether people agree.
But again, if they, with those bullets, we outline what the goals are. You know, try and say whoever's presenting it, summarizing what our backed up by the explanation. You know, in the
Okay, that
packet.
makes sense to me. I like.
But
what
you're,
Rob-
but right at this point, you're not talking about changing anything in the article, so.
Besides what we,
Well, the article text, it's
Yeah.
only what we discussed tonight.
yes,
Now we're tussling over the explanation.
Yeah,
I'm not touching explanation, that's my suggestion.
not touching the explanation,
Okay.
but you're talking about the presentation that goes down the road.
I'm kind of getting ahead.
Yeah, and
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's okay. So, to Matt's point, give me 2 seconds.
Really does all tie together into what zoning is about, and I think for this article.
Okay, so these 4 points I've shortened up a little bit.
But they're still quotes, just with more ellipses.
Yes,
Yes.
so just to shorten these up.
And if we decide to, well, since presentation, great, they're there. I think so.
In the presentation, it would be even shorter.
Yeah.
Bullets.
This is from, this comes directly from Vision Concord.
Yeah.
Cause you're only gonna have like 3, so it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Okay. So at this point, it would be the board moving to put forth these 7 warrant articles as amended this evening. And then any other minor
Non-substantive.
non-substantial grammatical or sentence syntax edits.
I move that.
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor?
I,
Okay,
Now the fun begins. So timeline wise, for your next meeting, we will, Christine and I will start to pull together presentations. And get those out, because the board only has 2 meetings before the public hearing, so we'll do our best, but I'm on vacation the last 2 weeks of February.
don't spend too much time on my presentation.
Which
Which one are you doing?
Commissioner to,
Oh, yeah, that's gonna be
that's the
25 slides minimum.
building commissioner. Andrew, you had which one?
I have the parking one.
It's joint parking.
I have MBTA.
MBTA. Greg had LB1.
Yes.
Sue has
Mixed use, I believe.
mixed use, and Abby
And wireless,
Morales.
and then Alan has.
Alan has lighting, okay. Okay, well, more than likely, we're gonna throw the easy ones together first and get those off our plate and then if you have any thoughts about your presentation, just fire it, fire away and
Maybe you could even just send me what Mark had as his final presentation last year.
yeah, so your presentation, I only have a few minor edits. to it,
Exactly, yeah.
and
I
then
was
we'll
thinking
send
that's-
it,
Yeah,
and I'll send it.
I do not want you to reinvent the wheel.
I'm not going to.
Perfect, I just wanted to make sure.
The correct presentation was actually really good. That's why it made me cry.
You're also human.
Moving on to planning board liaison and town planner updates.
So I can tell you last week, the new owners for 166 Comnav, the gas station, made a presentation to the West Concord Advisory Committee. Everybody was very supportive and excited about the project and had some, couple of more good suggestions. The developer and the architect really went through the design guidelines and it's actually gonna be an exciting project.
What is the proposed project?
So they are going to redevelop the gas station.
Right.
And so it's a country store and a gas station.
Okay.
And so when you think of country store or more like general store,
Mhm.
it has a little section of hardware. It has old time candy. It has it is a store. It's not a convenience store. It's not
Okay.
like 7-Eleven, they're not gonna have Dunkin's or
Slurpees.
coffees or Slurpees,
Well,
coffees or things.
Country stores I grew up with served ice cream.
So
And the reason this is gone, I'm just saying.
There 4 people made that comment. So,
Throw it out there.
so they did mention that and maybe they wanted to go talk to Bedford Farms about. So they do a lot of local sourcing of goods and stuff
Is this
like
part
that.
of
So
a group that also runs stores like this, or is it?
they have one in Mendon.
Okay.
So I think you can go online and you can look.
Check it out.
Yeah, they have a lot of old tin toys. And different kind of, a little bit of the 5 and 10
Five.
vibe.
Oh, then they'll have to carry rubber duckies.
So.
Up to them.
So, I think this board will probably see it, maybe your meeting in March after the public hearing. So that's one. My other update is, so today, Friday, it's the consulting engineer for the Assabet River multi-use bridge submitted everything to MassDOT for the 25% design public hearing. So they have 90 days to review and comment. So it's a complicated project, so the engineer is expecting comments back, but this is like a huge milestone, so kind of excited about that as well. And then also today was the full townwide staff kickoff meeting with the consultants to update the subdivision rules and regulations. So we have started an annotated draft that just goes through and pinpoints all the issues and concerns and problems. So once we get a little bit further down, they will be coming to the planning board to give an initial presentation. So yeah, so that's also moving forward. And then lastly, the RFP for developing the master plan and zoning for MCI Concord is being issued tomorrow. And so that will, we hope to have a consultant on board probably like the end of May. No, end of March, sorry, end of March. I think if the timeline's right, so, yeah. A lot going on.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Wendy's on. Wendy, do you have anything to add?
No, not tonight. Outside of, our standard town meeting stuff is all kicking off.
Excellent. Sue?
MCI Contract Committee seems to be on hiatus. So I got nothing at the moment.
CPC wrapped up. We made our final votes and recommendations for town meeting, so that will continue. Yes, Bed River Bridge on its month, so that's good.
And I do know the warrant was actually submitted last Friday,
Okay.
so that's already been done. And senior planner in Clifford is off this week and most of next week. Visiting her new grandson. He was born yesterday, so.
Yourself?
No tech.
On the land use working group, on the Public Works Subcommittee that I'm on, we've put together the locations that we're going to recommend to the planning board, the select board, excuse me, for proposed locations for the new campus. Including this location here, not just this building, but redoing this campus here is one of the options, so, and then that's pretty much it for now. So I think the last item we have is minutes for 12/9. Does anyone have any comments on those minutes? Did you see them?
I can't even remember. Did I submit comments on those minutes? Wait, maybe I did. Maybe I didn't.
No, I'd have to ask Heather.
Yes, you did, Sue. Last week
Oh, okay.
to Elizabeth, and Elizabeth sent them out in the packet last
Okay,
week.
then I got nothing.
They were very early this time.
So I already forgot, see?
Yeah. So.
Move to accept the
I thought they were
minutes.
really good.
Wait, what?
I thought they were really good. I thought if this is the minutes that I'm thinking of, they were very thorough and they were really informative.
Thank you.
I don't always feel that way about minutes.
Thank Heather.
Okay, I move to accept the minutes of December 9th as submitted.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, with that, the meeting is adjourned. Have a great evening. Thank you for attending.